All right, what are the basic things that we need in order to build our DAPP quickly? Well, from a code perspective, we need a smart contract, and we need a client-side application that will talk to this smart contract on the blockchain. So for the smart contract, we will develop this in Remix, which is a browser-based IDE that allows us to write our smart contract and compile it and run it. We also need a blockchain to deploy our smart contract to, and for local development purposes, we will use Ganache, put out by the creators of Truffle, the framework that I use in my other tutorial. And Ganache is basically, an in-memory blockchain. It's like a one-click blockchain. So this is the only thing that you'll need to download locally. You can download this and install it, and once you open it, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It will just start running, and you'll have 10 accounts connected to your blockchain for free. Now, the next thing that we need, there are two other things. We need a library that allows our client-side application to talk to our smart contract on the blockchain, and that's what Web3.js is. This is the Web3 library, which is what we'll use to connect our smart contract to our front-end application. The last thing that we need is a browser extension that converts our modern web browser into a blockchain browser, because most web browsers don't support this out of the box for free. We will use MetaMask, which is a Chrome extension that will allow your browser to talk to the blockchain. It's pretty simple to install. You just add it to your Chrome extensions and set it up. If you need help setting this up, I walk you through setting up MetaMask and a couple of these other libraries step by step in my other tutorial, where I walk you through building your first decentralized application. And I can post a link to that down in the description below. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, let's look at our smart contract code and also kind of the client-side application that we'll be developing. This is pretty simple. I'm going to post a link to this in the description below. This will be deployed to GitHub. So essentially what we'll do is we'll have a really basic index.html file that will have our application layout, and I'll write some JavaScript down here, and we will use this smart contract that I've written. It's just a really basic contract, and we'll just kind of copy and paste this into Remix in order to compile it and deploy it. Now you'll see some other stuff in here like CSS, fonts, and JavaScripts, and this is really all just external libraries that I've imported so that we can get up and running quickly. And specifically, it's just the Bootstrap library so that we can have some nice looking UI. And the other main component is the actual Web3 library that I mentioned a second ago, and this is the library that we'll kind of look at in depth or in detail when we develop this little front-end application here. So let's take this smart contract, we'll copy it, and this is kind of the beginnings of the smart contract that I build out in my other tutorial where we build a full voting decentralized application. Go ahead and paste in your smart contract code. So let's take a look at this for just 1 second. This smart contract is pretty basic. All it really does is display a candidate name. We'll just read the candidate name here. This is going to be our only candidate in this election. And it also allows us to just update this candidate name. And in the other tutorial, I kind of walk you through how to, we can add candidates and we can vote for candidates and we'll tally up votes. But for now, we're just going to do something very simple to know that our, client-side application is actually talking to our smart contract. And, you could go from there. So what you'll need to do, first of all, is ensure that Ganache is running. See this here? Just download and install Ganache and launch that, and you'll see that you have 10 accounts here with a balance of 100 Ether. And you'll need to take note of the port that Ganache is running on. Mine's running on 7545 by default. So we'll go back to Remix, and we will change the environment. Now, by default, over here in the Run tab, yours is probably set to JavaScript Virtual Machine, or maybe Injected Web3. I'm going to choose a Web3 provider. And it'll ask us if we want to connect to an Ethereum node. And essentially, that's what Ganache is going to give us is a local node or an RPC instance. And so I'm going to update this to 7545 because that's what we saw Ganache running on. Click OK. And once that's connected, you should see the accounts available in Ganache. So I'm going to select this first account right here with this one right here, the 100 Ether. And I am going to deploy the smart contract by clicking Create. And we can see that this was deployed by looking at the transaction receipt below. And we can call the functions on a smart contract here. Let's get a candidate name. And we can see that this is the variable here, set to candidate1. That's what we expect because we see the default value getting set in our smart contracts constructor. All right, now that our smart contract is deployed to our local blockchain, let's go ahead and look at our client-side application. So first of all, we'll open our index.html file, and we'll take a quick tour here. So what we'll have is just a place to hold our candidate name to display it, and we'll have a form to update that candidate name. And this code's pretty straightforward. Like I said, I'll post the link to this code down in the description below, and you can read through it.